Welcome to Dog Facts Funny. There are moments in life when a dog enters quietly, without ceremony, without warning, and sometimes without explanation. They arrive through shelters, through chance encounters, through friends who insist, or through circumstances that seem accidental at first glance. And yet, over time, many people begin to feel that their dog did not simply show up, but arrived at a very specific moment for a very specific reason. This episode is not about religion in a strict sense, and it is not about promises or guarantees. It is about timing, presence, and the strange way dogs seem to appear during chapters of life that are already shifting beneath our feet. The kind of chapters where something is ending, something is beginning, or something inside us is quietly asking to be held together. Dogs often arrive during transitions. For many people, a dog enters their life during a transition rather than during stability. It might be after a loss, during a move, following illness, or in a season where loneliness has become familiar enough to stop announcing itself. Even joyful transitions, like retirement or a new phase of family life, can create emotional gaps that a dog seems to naturally step into. Dogs do not arrive to fix these moments. They do not arrive with solutions or explanations. What they bring instead is presence, and presence has a way of anchoring us when everything else feels unsteady. A dog doesn't ask you to explain what you're going through. They simply show up in the middle of it and stay. Over time, that staying begins to feel meaningful, especially when you realize how different life might have felt without that quiet, steady companion nearby. Dogs give shape to time when life feels blurred. When life becomes emotionally heavy or uncertain, time often loses its structure. Days blur together. Motivation fades. Purpose becomes abstract rather than practical. Dogs, without trying to, reintroduce shape into time. They need walks when the world feels overwhelming. They need meals when appetite disappears. They need routine not as discipline, but as rhythm. In caring for them, the day begins to organize itself again, gently, and without pressure. This is not about responsibility as a burden. It is about responsibility as grounding. A dog gives the day edges again, and those edges quietly hold a person in place when they might otherwise drift too far inward. Dogs stay when words run out. There are moments in human life where language fails. Grief, exhaustion, long-term stress, and emotional burnout are not experiences that respond well to advice. Dogs seem to understand this instinctively. They stay close without asking questions. They rest beside you without demanding conversation. They sit in silence without trying to fill it. In doing so, they create a space where nothing needs to be explained or defended. This kind of presence is rare. It is not dramatic. It does not announce itself. But for someone who is struggling to hold themselves together, it can feel life-saving in ways that are difficult to articulate later. Dogs see you as you are, not as you perform. Dogs do not relate to the version of you that the world sees. They do not track your achievements, your failures, or your ability to keep up appearances. They respond to the version of you that exists at home, unguarded and unedited. This can be deeply grounding for people who feel pressure to perform strength, optimism, or competence in other areas of life. With a dog, there is no role to maintain. You are allowed to be tired. You are allowed to be quiet. You are allowed to be exactly where you are emotionally. For many people, this unconditional acceptance becomes a mirror that slowly teaches self-compassion, even when they didn't know they needed it. Responsibility without judgment. Caring for a dog creates responsibility, but it is a particular kind of responsibility, one that does not judge you when you struggle, fall behind, or have difficult days. The dog still needs care, but they do not attach meaning to your shortcomings. This creates a form of purpose that is steady rather than overwhelming. You get up not because you feel motivated, but because someone depends on you in a simple, honest way. Over time, that dependence becomes a reason to keep going, even on days when motivation is absent. For many people, this quiet obligation becomes a lifeline, not because it is heavy, but because it is consistent. Dogs absorb emotion without needing answers. Dogs are remarkably skilled at sitting with emotion. They notice changes in tone, posture, energy, and routine. They may not understand the cause, but they respond to the reality of it. They stay closer when sadness appears. They become gentler when tension rises. They do not ask you to explain why you feel the way you do. They simply adjust and remain present. This ability to absorb emotional atmosphere without needing clarity or control is something many humans struggle with, yet dogs offer it freely. For someone navigating emotional complexity, that kind of companionship can feel almost intentional. When the dog is gone, the meaning remains. Eventually, every dog leaves, and when they do, the loss can feel disproportionate to their size or lifespan. That grief often reveals how deeply they were woven into the emotional structure of a person's life. What remains afterward is not just memory, but change. The way you learn to show up, the way you learn to care, the way you learn to stay present even when things were hard. These lessons do not disappear when the dog does. Many people realize, only in hindsight, how profoundly their dog shaped who they became during that chapter of life. Meaning without certainty. There is a quiet tension in wanting to understand why a dog entered your life without needing to define that reason too clearly. Some people call it divine timing, others call it coincidence, and many never name it at all. Yet the feeling remains that the meeting mattered in a way that goes beyond chance. Dogs have a way of arriving when something inside us is already open, already vulnerable, or already searching for steadiness, and they step into that space without explanation or demand. What makes this meaningful is not certainty, but impact. A dog does not need a grand purpose to change the shape of a life. They do it by being present, by staying close through moments that would otherwise feel empty or unanchored, and by leaving behind a quieter, steadier version of the person who loved them. Perhaps the reason a dog was placed in your life is not something to be proven or explained, but something to be felt and carried forward long after the moment they first arrived has passed. If you look back on your life and notice that your dog arrived during a time when you were already changing, already struggling, or already rebuilding, it is natural to wonder whether that timing meant something. Whether you call it fate, coincidence, grace, or simply life unfolding in strange and meaningful ways, the truth remains that dogs often enter our lives when something inside us needs grounding, presence, or steady companionship more than explanation. They do not come to make life perfect. They come to walk alongside the life that already exists, offering rhythm, warmth, and a reason to stay engaged with the world when retreat might feel easier. Perhaps that is meaning enough. If reflections like this resonate with you, you're in the right place here at Dog Facts Funny. This channel exists to explore the quiet emotional bonds we share with animals, without rushing them into labels or answers. If you'd like to continue noticing these moments and stories, consider subscribing. There are many more quiet truths waiting to be seen. Thank you for spending this time with us, and for sharing the space where dogs and humans meet.